Chapter 831. The smile in Benjamin's eyes deepened. Placing his lips beside Arissa's ear, he queried softly in a suggestive tone, "How did I seduce you?" Arissa felt her ear going numb. "Gah!" His voice is lethally dulcet. Shifting away slightly, she retorted with a low harumph, "Do you really not know the answer to that, Mr. Graham?" Benjamin's gaze darkened. At the sight of her huffy expression, the curve of his lips became increasingly distinct. "Ha ha, we now know why you both got married." Jasper's voice rang out all of a sudden. He was staring up at them, having eavesdropped for an indeterminate time. The other 5 children likewise wore enlightened expressions on their faces. Embarrassment inundated Arissa, and she glared at the man beside her. "He did it on purpose, didn't he, causing me to forget that the kids were right next to us?" Benjamin quirked an eyebrow. He remained as calm as ever. "How did you seduce Mommy, Daddy?" Gavin stared at the man solemnly as he demanded an answer. "I was just wondering why Mommy suddenly married you, Mr. Graham. It turned out that you seduced her." Curling his lips, Zachary teased Benjamin. Benjamin's lips twitched imperceptibly. "We seduced each other. Hee hee. Why didn't you say that you love each other?" Oliver quipped as well. "You're right. We love each other." Benjamin echoed his son's words solemnly. All 6 children gaped at him incredulously. How could he utter such a remark calmly? He must have truly fallen for Mommy. They were all over the moon. Taken aback, Arissa goggled at the man. "Mommy, Mr. Graham said that the 2 of you love each other." Jessie pinned her eyes on Arissa, beaming from ear to ear. In turn, Arissa flashed her a smile. "Shouldn't you all be addressing me as Daddy, starting today?" Benjamin's eyes were fixated on the 6 children, his voice threaded with a hint of negotiation. Tim, Zachary, Oliver, Jasper, and the rest looked at each other. Tim wasn't addressing him as Daddy, because he wasn't accustomed to it yet, but Zachary and the others were testing him. "Although you've married Mommy and are our daddy, your subsequent performance will decide whether you pass." Zachary regarded the man shrewdly, not easily duped at all. Benjamin eyed his arrogant son in chagrin. "I've got to have a good chat with them. Otherwise, if they instigate Arissa one day, they might all take off on me again." At the sight of his dejected look, Arissa chortled. "Let's go and have breakfast, sweethearts." She urged the children to go into the house, for she had to rush to the hospital later after dropping them off at school. "Okay," the children answered. "Give them to me," Benjamin prompted. Gavin and Zachary quickly returned the marriage certificates to their father. Benjamin put them away in his pocket, treasuring them greatly. Arissa cast a glance at him. "Let's go and have breakfast." Benjamin nodded. "Take them to the dining room first. I'll join you all in a while." Then, he headed toward the study. Arissa watched him for a bit before leading the children to the dining room. "Congratulations on your marriage, Mrs. Graham." Grinning widely, Edwin offered his felicitations to Arissa. Arissa nodded with a smile. "Thank you. Hurry up and have breakfast, Mrs. Graham. Otherwise, it won't taste as good anymore when it's cold later," Edwin urged. He went over, carrying the children and placing them onto the chairs. Arissa did the same before she took a seat herself. When she saw that Benjamin was still not there yet, her curiosity was piqued. Why did he go to the study? Don't tell me it was to store the marriage certificates. Indeed, she hit the nail on the head. Verily, Benjamin went to the study to store the marriage certificates. To top it off, he kept them in the most hidden spot in the safe. Only after locking them up did he leave the study. Chapter 832. Congratulations on your marriage, Mr. Graham. Edwin again offered his felicitations when he saw Benjamin coming over. Thanks. In high spirits, Benjamin nodded and murmured an acknowledgement. Edwin smiled brightly. Have breakfast, Mr. Graham. Pulling out a chair, Benjamin sat down. He sensed Arissa staring at him, so he lifted his eyes and swung his gaze in her direction. Why aren't you eating? I was waiting for you, Arissa admitted with a smile. Benjamin's gaze softened. Hurry up and eat. By tacit understanding, the 6 children congratulated them merrily upon seeing that they had started eating. Congratulations on your marriage. Benjamin's eyes flickered, and he gazed at them tenderly. A smile curved his lips. Thank you, guys. Orissa was also very much delighted. Thank you, sweethearts. Eat up, quick. She hugged them all. Only then did the 6 children started eating breakfast. Eat more. Benjamin took some food for Orissa before doing the same for all the children. Sure. Orissa nodded and started eating breakfast in all seriousness. Seeing them eating happily, Benjamin was in a good mood as well. He ate more than usual. After breakfast, the 2 of them sent the children to school. Are you going to pick us up and take us to our great-grandaunt after school, Mommy? Gavin asked, clutching Orissa's hand. Yup. Orissa stroked his head with a smile. Miss York, will you be going to work straight away or visiting great-grandaunt? Tim queried softly. He hadn't talked to Mary on the phone after getting up in the morning, so he was missing her then. I'll be going to visit your great-grandaunt. Orissa caressed his petite face, coaxing, I'll be visiting her in a while, so don't worry, sweetheart. Study hard with your brothers. Tim peeked at her. In that case, can you give me a call after visiting her? Sure. Hugging him, Orissa kissed him before straightening his clothes. Subsequently, she straightened the clothes of the 5 other children. Go on in. I'll come and pick you up after school in the afternoon. All right, Mommy, Oliver replied joyfully. Bye, Mommy. Zachary waved. Gavin, Tim, Oliver, Jasper, and Jesse likewise bid farewell to her and Benjamin. Bye, sweethearts. Orissa watched the children with a smile in her eyes. His thin lips turning up slightly, Benjamin lifted his hand and waved at them. When all the children had gone into the school, he took her hand. Let's go to the hospital. Yeah. Nodding, Orissa followed after him. At that precise moment, a woman suddenly rushed out and blocked their path. You're the parents of those 6 children. Orissa studied her, startled at her frantic state. Yes. Is something the matter? Falling to her knees, the woman prostrated herself before them. Please have mercy on my child. We've already admonished him, and he'll never make such remarks again. No school dares to take him in now. I'm sorry. We've really repented. Our family's business can't survive anymore either. Please spare us. Orissa was wholly stumped. I didn't do anything. Could it have been Benjamin? She turned her gaze to the man. Benjamin remained indifferent, his gaze chilly. He motioned to his bodyguard a stone's throw away. The bodyguard immediately stepped forward and blocked the woman from sight. Leave at once. Don't bother Mr. Graham. Mr. Graham. The woman gasped. She glanced at Benjamin, only to tremble violently in fright upon meeting his baleful gaze. Only then did she know the identity of the 6 children's father, Benjamin Graham of Delmore, otherwise known as Mr. Graham. No one dared to offend him, for anyone who did so was merely courting death. Oh my God, why was my son so blind? Worse still, we even came to school after the fact and taught those kids a lesson. At that thought, the woman broke out in a cold sweat. I'm sorry, Mr. Graham. It was all our fault. Please have mercy on us. Our child's future is of utmost importance. Chapter 833. The woman remained on the ground and continued to beg for Benjamin's mercy. As long as Benjamin was willing to let them off, she would stay on her knees for the entire day. The parents of the other children started gathering around. Benjamin had a grim expression on his face as he noticed someone taking a video of the scene. What has your child's future got to do with me? He asked coldly. As Orissa knew that the woman was the mother of one of those kids, she did not have any sympathy for her. I could have let it slide if it was just your kid making fun of my son. However, it's unforgivable that you adults had come to the school and scolded my kid without even getting the facts right. You should have expected to suffer consequences for that. How dare you ask for mercy after failing to set a good example for your child? Besides, it's common for children to bicker among themselves. You think your kid is precious, but my child is also precious. Who gave you the right to humiliate my son? Orissa stared at the woman and exclaimed in anger such that everyone around could hear her clearly. Benjamin felt very satisfied with the woman for defending their boy. Sorry, I'm so sorry. We have lost our senses and behaved inappropriately. I shouldn't have scolded your child. I'm not asking you to let our child return to study here, but none of the schools in Delmore are willing to accept him now. If this situation continues, my son's life would be ruined. Please let my child continue schooling in Delmore. The woman continued begging. Even though Arissa did have some pity for the woman, she did not forget how she treated Tim. There's nothing I can do about the schools not wanting to take your kid in. You should think of a solution yourself. It's none of our business. The woman's anger spiked after Arissa and Benjamin showed no signs of relenting. Unable to contain her fury, she retorted, if you guys hadn't instructed the schools not to accept my child, would they have done that? The other parents who had gathered around were talking among themselves. She was the one who bullied their son, and it's just karma returning to bite her. How could she have the cheek to blame them? It seems like she's not repentant at all. That incident was everywhere in the news. I'm sure all of the schools had seen what happened. It's unlikely that any school would accept a child raised by a parent like her. If you really want the best for your child, you should properly reflect on yourself. Your kid has only turned out this way because he has a mother like you. Exactly. We're living in a modern and civilized society. Does she really expect everyone to treat her son like a prince? Such uncouth behavior is unacceptable. If no schools in Delmore are willing to accept your child, you can take him somewhere else. I'm sure some school in some part of the world would be happy to take him in. The woman felt as if she was about to explode with rage when she heard those comments from the other parents, but she was not in a position to retort. She turned toward Benjamin and Arissa and begged pitifully, please let us off. I'm begging you. After witnessing the woman's true colors, Arissa did not feel like helping her at all. Obviously, she knew that it was all Benjamin's doing, but she was also certain that the man couldn't have approached every school in the city. It's no use begging us. You should be pleading with the principals of those schools instead. It's not something we can control. Why are you hell-bent on destroying my son's future? I'll kill you for that. The woman got up and charged toward Arissa. However, before she could get anywhere near her, she was stopped by the bodyguards. Call the police, Benjamin ordered in a frosty voice. Understood, Mr. Graham. The bodyguard called the police at once. Soon, the police arrived and took the woman away after recording some statements. Many in the surrounding crowd murmured and sighed, but no one felt sympathy for the woman. Arissa had a gloomy expression on her face after returning to the car. She was feeling rather frustrated because her mood had been ruined early in the morning. Benjamin pinched the woman's cheeks affectionately and asked, "What's on your mind?" Arissa sighed and replied, "Did we go overboard?" A crease appeared between the man's brows as he replied in a deep voice, "She's just reaping what she sowed. We can't show mercy to someone like her." Arissa looked at him and felt that even though what he had just said did make sense, she just could not help feeling bad about it. After all, she was also a mother. Did you tell all those schools to not accept her child? Chapter 834. Just some of them, replied Benjamin, looking at the woman. Ethan had passed down Benjamin's orders to a few schools in Delmore, but not all. However, it was for sure that none of the better schools in the city would accept the kid. Arissa nodded when she heard the man's reply. If that was the case, it did not concern them whether or not the rest of the schools wanted to accept that woman's kid. There was no need for her to feel guilty. Is that woman going to be arrested? She asked. Without replying, Benjamin fixed his gaze on Arissa before turning the woman's head around to face him. The next moment, he pressed his lips against hers. Arissa could almost feel her head spinning from the man's passionate kiss and stopped fretting about other matters. When they arrived at the hospital, Benjamin planted another kiss on the corner of Arissa's lips. Looking at the woman who was blushing, his gaze darkened as he felt waves of desire rise within him. He wouldn't have stopped if they did not have something to attend to. "Are you able to get out of the car?" Benjamin asked teasingly while pinching the woman's cheek. Lovingly, Arissa was panting and her face was flushed red. "Of course," she replied after casting a self-conscious glance at the man. Benjamin brushed his finger against her nose and got out of the car. "Come on." Arissa cleared her throat before stepping out of the car. Standing next to the car door, Benjamin put his hand on the headliner to prevent the woman from bumping her head against it. Then, the couple headed into the hospital together. I wonder how Grandaunt is feeling today. Orissa had only spoken to Mary on the phone the previous day but did not visit her at the hospital. She should be fine. If there's anything wrong, Sean would have called me, Benjamin replied, reassuring the woman. Orissa nodded. When both of them reached the ward, there was still about an hour left to Mary's surgery. Mary had just finished her breakfast with the help of a nurse. When the old lady saw the couple, she greeted them with a smile on her face. Why are you guys here? Don't you have to work? Grandaunt, knowing that you're having your surgery today, how can we work in peace? Since he's the boss, it wouldn't matter what time we go to the office. Don't worry about us. Orissa sat by Mary's bedside and held the old lady's hand while expressing her concern for her. It's just a minor surgery. You guys didn't have to come. Feeling extremely touched, Mary replied, do Tim and the other kids know about my surgery? Nope, we didn't tell them about it. You should have some rest now. We'll be here with you, Orissa said as she tucked the blanket under Mary's arm. After greeting Mary, Benjamin left the ward to look for Sean to ask him about Mary's condition. Grandaunt, I have good news to tell you. Orissa was smiling so vibrantly that one could easily tell that something good had happened to her. What's the good news? I can tell that you're in a very good mood today. Quick, tell me about it. Mary was smiling from ear to ear as she urged Orissa to share the news. Grandaunt, Benjamin and I got married. Orissa said softly. What? Mary froze for a moment when she heard that. We made the decision last night and registered our marriage this morning. Orissa told Mary cheerfully. Really? Mary was rather shocked to hear that. But it's only 7 o'clock in the morning. How did you manage to register your marriage? The city hall only opens after 8, right? Oh, someone came to our house in the morning to officiate our marriage. We just had to take a picture and fill in a form. The entire process took less than 20 minutes. Orissa had a blissful expression as she spoke. Mary felt a sense of relief after noticing the look on the woman's face. She did not expect the two youngsters to get married so soon. Do the kids know that the two of you are married already? Orissa nodded as she replied, Yup, they do. Tim must have been thrilled. Mary said, beaming. Yup, the kids were all really excited to know about it. They were pretty shocked when we told them, Orissa replied merrily. Mary looked at the younger woman and said smilingly, I'm really surprised too. I didn't expect both of you to get married so soon. Feeling slightly awkward, Orissa replied, it was a sudden decision. I didn't expect Benjamin to be serious about marrying me. Mary patted the back of Orissa's hand and said gently, do you really not know about Benjamin's feelings toward you? A blush of embarrassment spread across Orissa's cheeks when she met Mary's smiling gaze. Chapter 835. Yes, I feel it. Orissa nodded and opened up to Mary. After all, he's not an easy man to woo. I thought he was just playing along to make me happy. Mary smiled. Benjamin isn't a sweet talker. Instead, he shows his love through his actions. Orissa laughed and joked, it seems like you know him very well, Grandaunt. Mary grinned from ear to ear and replied, well, it's just what I felt. If you were to spend your life with him, your feelings for him are important. When two people stay together, conflicts are bound to happen. As long as it's not an unforgivable mistake, neither of you should hold a grudge against the other. Instead, just have an argument and let it go. Orissa nodded. I'll remember Grandaunt's advice. Right then, Benjamin and Sean came in. Sean came by to check Mary's vitals. Everything is stable, Madam Mary. Don't be afraid of the surgery, okay? We're all here with you, he comforted Mary. Okay, thank you, Dr. Bailey. Mary uttered gratefully, you're welcome. As long as you're healthy, we'll be happy. Sean then prepared an IV drip for Mary. Benjamin and Orissa were right beside Mary, keeping her company. Benjamin, Issa told me you guys got married. Congratulations. Mary congratulated Benjamin. While wearing a gentle expression, Benjamin nodded and answered, thank you, Grandaunt. From now on, you guys have to live blissfully together, okay? Mary urged. We will. Benjamin nodded. Sean was stunned when he heard Mary congratulating Benjamin. His astonished gaze fell on the couple as he asked, "You guys got married?" Orissa looked at him and smiled. Yes. Benjamin, on the other hand, merely glanced at Sean without saying a word. Sean was so shocked that his jaw dropped. After a long while, he finally blurted, "When?" "Today." "Yes." Orissa laughed. "Oh, my goodness. That's fast. We were just at your house last night, no. Why didn't we hear anything about it?" Sean was looking at Benjamin in bafflement. What a shocking piece of news. Benjamin had gotten married on the spur of the moment. Though Benjamin was in high spirits, he responded flatly, "Well, now you know, right? We just suddenly decided to get married." Orissa smiled. One shouldn't overthink and drag things out when it comes to marriage. Sean laughed aloud. "Congratulations, Benjamin. Congratulations. Things have developed rather quickly between you guys. We were wondering how long we would have to wait to attend your wedding dinner." Sean beamed brightly as he spoke. Did Benjamin get influenced by Aaron? He was exceedingly efficient. Although Aaron had already held his wedding dinner, I don't think he has registered for his marriage yet. "Wedding dinner? Not so soon," Benjamin uttered in a serious tone. "That's something we need time to prepare for." Hearing that, Orissa turned toward him, looking at him with puzzlement. What does he mean by that? Benjamin met her gaze. "Well, we need time to prepare for that." Orissa felt gleeful deep down upon feeling his commitment toward her. With a nod, she said, "Yes. We do." Benjamin pinched her cheek affectionately. "Get a room, you guys." Sean teased. Orissa's eyes gleamed, and she started blushing. Unlike her, Benjamin wasn't at all embarrassed. He turned to glare at Sean and said, "Get ready for the surgery." Sean smiled in response. "Congratulations, Mrs. Graham." "Thank you," Orissa replied with a smile. Mary couldn't stop smiling when she saw their sweet interaction. Meanwhile, at the Graham residence, Edwin called the old manor to tell them about the good news. William was so happy that he immediately shouted, "Old Mr. Graham, Mr. Graham got married." Darius ran in from the courtyard excitedly and stared at William. "Say that again. Old Mr. Graham, Mr. Graham, just got married." Darius burst into laughter when he heard that. "That's marvelous. That fellow has finally come to his senses. Wait, who is he getting married to?" he asked cautiously because he was afraid that it wouldn't be the result he wanted. Chapter 836. William quickly asked Edwin, "Who did Mr. Graham marry?" Edwin heard Darius asking that question, and he laughed. "He got married to Mrs. Graham." Upon hearing that, William reported, "Old Mr. Graham, Mr. Graham married Mrs. Graham." Darius' eyes lit up, and he was overjoyed. "Ha ha, that little punk has finally come to his senses. Good, let's go to Yaleview now." William hung up the phone instantly, so he didn't hear what Edwin said on the phone. "Old Mr. Graham, slow down. There's no need to rush. Isa is going to call me, Dad. I need to prepare a monetary gift for her. Find me an envelope for the monetary gift, okay? I need to get changed." Darius quickly went back to his room to change into a set of new clothes. After getting the envelope from William, he gleefully inserted a bank card into it. "Go fetch me the family heirloom." William widened his eyes in shock. "Old Mr. Graham, are you going to give it to Mrs. Graham now?" "Yes. Hurry up. Aren't you going to wait for the children to be here and give it to her during the ceremony?" William queried. Darius thought about it for a while and agreed with William. "Okay, get me the jade, then. Isa is going to love it." William smiled and went to fetch the jade. "Let's go." With that, Darius brought William and the gift to Yaleview. However, when they got there, they were told that Benjamin and Orissa weren't home. Of course, Darius lectured Edwin for a while. The latter was amused. "Mr. Graham and Mrs. Graham are at the hospital because Miss Connor is getting surgery today. Why didn't you say so?" Darius grumbled before rushing to the hospital with William. When Mary was getting pushed into the operating room, Benjamin and Orissa followed closely beside her. "Grandaunt, don't be scared, okay? We'll be waiting for you outside." Orissa comforted Mary. "Okay, don't get too worried about me." Mary responded with a smile. "Don't worry, everything's going to be fine." Sean changed into a surgical gown and went into the operating room alongside the medical staff. Benjamin then led Arissa to a seat and urged, "Calm down." Arissa glanced at him before shifting her gaze back toward the entrance of the operating room. Right then, her phone rang. Seeing that it was Tim calling her, she answered the phone immediately. "Yes, sweetheart, Miss York." Tim's voice came through. "Hey, sweetheart, are you missing great-grandaunt?" Only then did Arissa realize that she had forgotten to call her son. Tim grunted softly. Arissa smiled and said, "Sweetheart, your great-grandaunt is asleep. When she wakes up later, I'll get her to call you, okay? Is there a telepathic connection between this child and his great-grandaunt? He asked me about her this morning, and now he's calling me to ask about her again." "Sure," Tim answered obediently and kept the call connected. Arissa glanced at the entrance of the operating room and started chatting with her son. "Sweetheart, has the class not started yet?" Earlier on, Benjamin ordered his bodyguard to buy a milkshake for Arissa. He then inserted a straw for her and gave the milkshake to her. "Have some milkshake." Arissa took it from him. "We're having a break. Miss York, is Mr. Graham with you at the hospital?" Tim asked. Arissa couldn't help but smile when she heard his son's squeaky voice. "Yes, we have something to deal with, so we're still at the hospital." "Where are your brothers?" Arissa didn't hear the others on the phone call. "They went to the restroom, but I didn't," Tim replied. "Sweetheart, you've only gone to school recently, so you're not familiar with the surroundings yet. If possible, stay with your brothers, okay?" Arissa advised. She was worried that the other kids would bully him. "I'm with them. I'm waiting for Jesse at the entrance of the restroom." Arissa took a peek at Benjamin. Upon seeing that he was busy working on his tablet, she answered, "That's good." After that, the other children came out of the restroom and chatted with her on the phone. When it was time for the kids to go back to class, they said goodbye to each other and ended the call. Chapter 837. Arissa was still smiling after she hung up the phone. Benjamin turned to look at her tenderly. "What are you smiling at?" She glanced at him and answered, "Tim took the initiative to call me." Seeing how happy she was, Benjamin chuckled softly. "Silly woman." Arissa glared at him. "I'm happy my son called me. What's wrong with that?" With a smile, Benjamin nodded and shifted his attention back toward his tablet to continue working. Arissa sized him up. "He didn't mention anything. I guess he didn't hear what Tim said to me just now." "Do you want to go work in the ward?" she asked. "That's not necessary. I can just work here." With that, Benjamin continued focusing on his work. In response, Arissa just smiled and looked at him. "He's just cold on the outside and warm on the inside." As she was enjoying the milkshake, she could feel the sweetness in her mouth and in her heart at the same time. She then held the straw next to his mouth and suggested, "Have a taste." Benjamin froze for a while and took a sip. "It's so sweet. You can have it. I like it because it's sweet. As a matter of fact, this isn't even that sweet." Arissa's voice sounded delightful when she talked. It was music to Benjamin's ears. Suddenly, his gaze darkened, and he ended up turning toward her before planting a kiss on her lips. "Don't talk." His voice was hoarse and suggestive. Indeed, he was losing control of himself when he heard her soft voice. Arissa instantly felt her cheeks burning. She then watched as Benjamin continued working on his tablet with his legs crossed and his back leaning against the chair. He looked so elegant and charming when he's focused. Before Arissa knew it, she was entranced by the visual before her eyes. He looks so handsome. His eyes, nose, and lips are all so alluring. His side view alone is enough to make someone fall head over heels. At that moment, she blushed as her heart started racing. Ahem. All of a sudden, someone coughed, and she immediately snapped back to her senses before turning toward the voice. The moment she saw Darius smiling back at her, she stood up and yelled, "Old Mr. Graham." "Hey." Darius smiled, scrutinizing her and Benjamin. Prior to that, when he saw how mesmerized Arissa was when she was staring at Benjamin, he told William to stay quiet so that they could keep watching her from a distance away. Benjamin lifted his head to throw a glance at his father before shifting his attention back to his work. Arissa, on the other hand, walked swiftly toward Darius and held his arm. "What brought you here, old Mr. Graham?" Darius' smile faded, and he glanced worriedly at the operating room. "I came to see your grandaunt. I heard she's having surgery. How long has she been in there?" "It's been a while." Orissa brought Darius to a chair and said, "Have a seat, old Mr. Graham." In response, Darius looked at her and smiled. "Why are you still addressing me that way?" Orissa froze momentarily before chuckling awkwardly. Benjamin cast a glance at her and ordered, "Call him Dad." She shot the man a look before saying affectionately, "Dad." It had been a while since she addressed someone so. Therefore, she was getting a little emotional. "Good girl." Darius curled his lips. "It feels great to be called that. Why didn't you guys tell me you guys were registering for your marriage?" Darius asked. Orissa gave a dry chuckle. "We were in a rush, so we didn't have time to do so. After getting our marriage certificate, we sent the kids to school before coming to the hospital." Darius deliberately snorted and reprimanded Benjamin. Issa had forgotten about it. "What about you? Did you forget as well?" "Well, now you know, right?" Benjamin swept his gaze over Darius. Darius then glared at his son. "Well, there's a difference between hearing it from you and hearing it from Edwin. Old Mr. Graham." "Wait, no, Dad, we're sorry for not telling you ourselves," Orissa apologized. Darius frowned. "Don't speak up for him." Orissa was rendered speechless. "Come, Issa, take this monetary gift." Darius smiled and whipped out the monetary gift he had prepared for her. Benjamin merely swept a glance at them before getting back to work. "Thank you, Dad." Orissa received it with both hands happily. Although she didn't know how much money was inside the envelope, she was still extremely grateful to receive a monetary gift from an elder. Chapter 838. "Here's another gift for you. Take it." Darius took the gift from William and passed it to Orissa. Orissa took it from him and asked, "What is this?" "Open it." Darius smiled at her. He was very satisfied with his new daughter-in-law. Orissa felt a bit embarrassed, so she said, "I'll open it at home later." "That works, too. Keep it first. After all, it's not really appropriate to open it up in a hospital." Darius laughed. "Congratulations on your marriage, Mr. and Mrs. Graham." William congratulated them. "Thank you." Orissa was on cloud nine. "Okay." Benjamin's expression softened when he saw how happy Orissa was. Meanwhile, William just kept staring at the both of them, who were a perfect match, as joy flooded his heart. "Where's the marriage certificate? Let me have a look." Darius voiced. Orissa turned toward Benjamin and uttered, "He kept it." Darius glanced at him and saw him working. "You're at the hospital. Why are you still so busy with work? You should be patiently waiting for your grandaunt to come out of the operating room. It won't look nice on you if someone sees this." Benjamin lost his concentration after getting lectured by Darius. Hence, he kept his tablet away and urged, "Go home, will you? Issa and I will wait for grandaunt." Orissa twitched her lips when she suddenly heard Benjamin calling her Issa. "Why did he call me that?" With a stern face, Darius uttered, "Well, I'm already here, aren't I? I'll go home once Madame Mary is out of surgery. After all, I have nothing else to do. By the way, since the registration is done, when are you guys going to hold a wedding dinner?" Benjamin looked at his father and responded, "We'll leave that to you. You like doing such things, right?" Darius broke into a smile, but he quickly suppressed his joy. "Who said so? I'm just looking forward to helping Issa with her wedding preparations. Isn't that what I said?" Benjamin raised his brows and got Orissa to sit down. "Okay, I'll plan the wedding reception. All you guys have to do now is to wait for that day to come." With that, Darius turned to William and instructed, "Quick. Pick a date for their wedding." "Yes, old Mr. Graham." William responded with a smile and quickly retreated to one side to carry out the order. Darius shifted his gaze back to Orissa. "Issa, I think we should present the betrothal gifts. Will you let Madame Mary accept the gifts on your family's behalf? It's just a formality. What do you think?" "Sure." Orissa liked the idea and had no objections. "All right, we'll do that, then." Darius nodded and started planning for the wedding in his head. If they weren't in a hospital, he would have requested the newlyweds to give him a list of the guests they were going to invite. Right then, Benjamin turned to stare at Orissa intently. Taking note of his gaze, Orissa was puzzled. What? Don't you want to check inside the envelope? Benjamin lifted his chin slightly, gesturing for her to check the envelope. In response, Orissa shot him a look and joked, "What? Do you want me to split my monetary gift with you?" Benjamin flicked her forehead. "Do you think I care about your money?" "Yes. I know you're rich, Graham. Why would you care? Only the poor like me would care." Orissa teased. Benjamin's lips twitched. "Poor? You? Why can't I tell you're poor?" "Well, compared to you, I'm poor." Orissa pursed her lips. Benjamin chuckled and whispered in her ear, "Now that you're my wife, do you still think you're poor? My money is all yours. By right, you're even richer than me now." Orissa shot him a look and answered, "Where's your money?" "I don't see any." Benjamin took out a few bank cards from his wallet and gave them to her. "Keep them." Orissa was stunned. Is he really giving me all his money? "The passwords are Gavin's birthday," Benjamin said. Orissa gulped. Why do I feel so stressed out now that Benjamin has given me all his money? "Are you for real?" she questioned. "Spend it however you like." Benjamin answered with a straight face. Chapter 839. Benjamin sure knows how to love his wife. Darius and William chuckled silently when they saw the interaction between Benjamin and Orissa. Orissa was thrilled. Should I just accept them? Yes. When Benjamin saw her lovely eyes, he almost couldn't resist the urge to kiss her. He would have done so if Darius wasn't there. Orissa lowered her head to look at the bank cards and beamed. At that point, she was in seventh heaven. Benjamin's gaze was tender as he tousled her hair and urged, "Keep them safe, okay? Don't lose them, okay?" Orissa quickly opened her purse and kept the bank cards in a secret compartment. After that, she wrapped her arms around the gift and sat with the others to wait for Mary's surgery to conclude. Mary's surgery was a success, and it only took a little over an hour. However, she was still asleep because of the anesthesia. With the surgery done and dusted, everyone went back to the ward. Sean settled Mary down and said to the others, "Don't worry, okay? Madam Mary's surgery was a success. With further treatments, she'll fully recover fairly quickly. Does this mean Grandaunt will never have back pain again?" Orissa wanted to be sure. Mary had been suffering from kidney stones for a long time, and she had been enduring the pain. Monitor her diet. With regular checkups, she should be fine, Sean uttered. Orissa heaved a sigh of relief when she heard that. "Thank you, everyone." Orissa thanked all the medical staff. "It's our pleasure," the medical staff replied respectfully. They noticed how Benjamin had been following her around to visit Mary. Hence, they all knew she was most probably going to be their boss's wife in the future. "Sean, bring everyone with you and take a break," Benjamin instructed. "Sure." Sean felt relieved as well. Finally, Madam Mary's surgery is done. The treatments after this will be fairly straightforward. Madam Mary's IV drip isn't finished yet, so I don't think she's going to wake up anytime soon. She might wake up at noon at the soonest. Otherwise, she'll be under till the afternoon. You guys should head home and rest, too. The medical staff will take care of her here, Sean urged. "Okay, Mr. Bailey, go on and rest, okay? Don't mind us," Orissa responded with a grateful smile. Sean said bye to them before bringing the medical staff out of the ward. The medical staff bade Benjamin, Darius, and Orissa farewell before going off. The ward fell silent right away. Orissa then cautiously tucked Mary in. Benjamin glanced at Darius and William and said, "You guys can go home now. I'll stay here with her." Darius gazed at his son and bobbed his head. "Take good care of Madam Mary." Darius then said bye to Orissa before leaving the ward with William. Within an hour after they left, a housekeeper sent by Darius arrived in the ward to look after Mary. "You should take a rest too. Grandaunt isn't going to wake up anytime soon." Benjamin poured Orissa a glass of water and asked her to sit next to him. Orissa checked the IV drip before walking toward him. She took the glass of water from him, took a few sips, and said, "Since Grandaunt is done with her surgery, you should head back to the office if you're busy." Benjamin took the glass of water from her and finished the water by drinking from the same spot where she drank earlier. Orissa noticed it and blushed. I'll go over in the afternoon. Benjamin put the glass aside and served her some fruits. After that, he took his tablet and started working again. Orissa's lips curved as she was watching him. As the warm sunlight shone through the window and over them, the sight was rather heartwarming. When the bodyguard guarding the ward's entrance saw that, he was mesmerized. He then secretly took a few photos of them and circulated them around. Ethan saw it and forwarded it to Benjamin with the caption saying, "Congratulations on your marriage, Mr. Graham." Benjamin received a notification on his phone, and he tapped on it. That was when he saw the photo of Orissa and him that was taken from behind. "How beautiful." With a smile on his face, he replied, "You'll receive an extra month's bonus." Ethan jumped and cheered in the office when he received the reply. The vice president who was there to discuss work with Ethan thought the latter had gone crazy. "Are you all right?" "I'm fine." Ethan laughed. Chapter 840. Orissa noticed how cheerful Benjamin was, so she peered at him and asked, "What are you looking at?" When she craned her neck to see what was on the phone, Benjamin quickly turned the phone away and switched it back to its usual screensaver. Orissa was a little annoyed. "You were looking at girls, weren't you?" Benjamin raised his gaze toward her and answered, "Yes." Orissa was shocked. "Are all men like this?" Suddenly, she lost her appetite and chewed the fruits mindlessly. Seeing how jealous she was, Benjamin beamed with delight. He couldn't help but tease, "Are you jealous?" "Who's jealous? It's normal for men to look at girls, no. Men who don't look at girls are abnormal," she answered. The corners of Benjamin's mouth twitched when he heard that. "Why do I feel like she's insulting me?" His mood got worse when he heard her adding, "I'm just like that, too. I love to look at handsome men. They're a treat to my eyes." Orissa harumphed softly. Despite what she said, she was still upset. Who would want their husband to lay eyes on other girls? "But I for one enjoy checking out other handsome men. I guess this is what you call double standards." "What handsome men? Who?" Benjamin stared at her. Obviously, he was jealous. Orissa shot him a look and answered, "Since you're not telling me, why should I tell you?" Benjamin scoffed and unlocked his phone screen. He then showed it to her and said, "I was looking at this." Orissa saw the photo and thought it was a beautiful scene. However, as she continued looking, she noticed something familiar about the photo. When she realized what she was looking at, she widened her eyes in shock and asked, "Is that me?" Benjamin threw her a glance and asked, "Who else, if not you?" Orissa was taken aback. "When did you take this photo?" Baffled, she turned to stare at him. Benjamin reached out his hand to pinch her cheek in response. "First, tell me who those handsome men are." Orissa giggled when she saw how jealous he was. Benjamin's gaze darkened. He then frowned and stared at her. "What's so funny?" Orissa stopped giggling upon seeing his domineering demeanor. "Well, I meant the handsome men I see on the streets. Also, some of them are the celebrities I see on the internet." Benjamin narrowed his eyes. "Are they as handsome as me?" Orissa stared at the serious-looking Benjamin for a while. "He's so pleasing to the eye. Indeed, no one's more handsome than him. I haven't seen one, at least. He's such a fine specimen." "No," Orissa answered truthfully. The frown on Benjamin's face disappeared at once. He mumbled an acknowledgement and kept his phone away. Orissa was still curious about how the photo was taken. "It can't be him. He's been sitting next to me all this while. Who took the photo? Forward it to me, will you?" She gently nudged Benjamin's arm. The bodyguard took it secretly. Orissa turned toward the entrance and exclaimed, "What a good photo." Benjamin arched a brow. "I think so too." The corner of his lips lifted, and he was in a good mood. "Forward it to me." Orissa wanted to keep a copy of the photo as well. "What a nice photo. It looks even better than the ones taken by professional photographers." Benjamin passed her his phone and said, "Do it yourself." Orissa took his phone and looked at him. "Aren't you worried that I might find your secrets on your phone?" Benjamin gazed at her intently and answered, "You're now my wife. Look through it all you want." Orissa blushed when she heard those ambiguous words. "I don't have a habit of snooping around." A delighted glint flashed across his eyes. You have a new identity now. You're my wife, so you're not snooping around when you're looking through my phone. A warm sensation welled up in her heart. Okay, I'll just forward the photo to me. She then saw that his phone was locked with a password. While waving the phone in front of him, she asked, "What's your password?"